Hello there, Taylor with the Armageddon Report. So, the big news, Tropical Storm Ernesto now no longer a hurricane, but still torrential rains and flooding anticipated as Ernesto skirts the coast of Mexico near border. I don't know these names, but if we go over here and we click on that and we click on Espanol, then we can really pronounce it incorrectly. Lluvias torrenciales y inundaciones se anticipación a medida que Ernesto bordea la costa de México cerca de Coatzacoalcos. I have no idea. So anyway, Ernesto, not to make light of it, but that's what this screencast is all about, isn't it? But Ernesto making the final like landfall or whatnot. Ernesto already crossed over here and now making another landfall. Ernesto, in fact, might become one of these rare storm systems that makes the cross from the Atlantic to the Eastern Pacific. I think, though, it would get an Eastern Pacific name. And I say that because let's look at the Spaghetti Models page for Ernesto. So we go there. Then we go there, and then we see Ernesto, so Spaghetti Models page, this is why, because this is a little bit less cluttered. We'll look at these two. So this is specifically for Ernesto. So Ernesto might make the jump. So, but don't know yet. But what they do have in the Eastern Pacific outlook right now is a 10% chance of tropical cyclone formation. And if we click on this, then you get to read about it, and now, honestly, I have no idea which one it is. What is it? It's this one. A trough of low pressure along the west coast of Mexico could begin to interact with the remnants of Atlantic Tropical Storm Ernesto. So, right, 10%. So what is Ernesto right now? And it's dumping buckets and buckets of lluvia. Could become, I believe, Hector. Hector would be the next one. Right, but there's a whole lot going on. So, in case you're wondering what on earth is this big stripe, Spaghetti Models are back for the Western Pacific. What's the expression? Knock on wood. Hopefully the new server I found won't be so crash happy or whatnot. So what's going on is we've got this low chance of tropical cyclone formation over here where it's crossing the international date line. So it's starting out there and then ending up there. But because the mapping system can't handle it, it crosses the long way to get across the international date line. Right. So we've got Kirogi still out there, hopefully not affecting land much. And that by the time, because at some point, Kirogi gonna hit some cold waters or whatnot. So let's go back to here. So the biggest news, aside from Ernesto, land-wise, land impacting-wise, would be this thing. 80% chance. In fact, some of these Spaghetti Models have been showing similar paths of what Ernesto took, so it could potentially affect a lot of the same regions. And what's really confusing, I don't know if it's still doing that, but it was calling this earlier, the Spaghetti Model, the raw data was calling it tropical, or not, they were calling it 07. So they were pretending that it had already officially become the 7th storm of the Atlantic season. But apparently not. I don't know if that's a bug or what. They just got a little bit over anxious or whatnot. Over here in the Atlantic, we've got 10%. That's the remnants of Florence. And then this is the farthest back to the east I've ever seen them put a probability area at 20%. So this would be probably, most likely, this would be the one that would become Gordon. The next one is it Helene? I think it's Helene, because of Hector, those are the only names I've memorized. If we go over here, so we've got potentially Gordon showing up soonish, and then Helene. Now this one right here, go back to it. If that regenerates, I'm pretty sure it just reclaims the name of Florence, since that is the remnants of Florence, I do believe. Right, and then over here, we've got a 10% chance, and yeah. And then, of course, there's Hurricane Gilma, but Gilma not affecting land, at least hopefully not, Could eventually make the trip to Hawaii, but with the sea surface temperatures the way they were, or the way they tend to be out in Hawaii, the likelihood that it would, really cause an impact, a hurricane-level impact, very low. So yes, that's what's going on right now. So Ernesto and yellow stuff and red stuff, yellow stuff, that was very scientific. We're naming colors. It's, so I don't know, it's rojo, and whatever yellow is in Spanish. Obviously, I need to brush up on the 3 words of Espanol that I know. So over here, Got Oklahoma back in the bullseye again with the red flag warning. So red flag warnings, that means conditions are favorable that if fires get set, and unfortunately, sometimes they get set by humans, and then of course it could be, you know, like if just, I don't know, if something sets itself on fire because somebody had a magnifying glass and they left it out in the wrong place or something. Anyway, the point is, red flag warnings mean fire conditions are favorable, so if fires get set, they can spread quite quickly. And look at that, 102 degrees, so Oklahoma City, eesh, very hot. And then red flag warnings back here for the Potato State as well, and then Wyoming is, it's just hot. It's it won't ever end, will it? I don't know what I just clicked on. 5 miles west of Moran, Wyoming, I don't know. And then back here we've got excessive heat warning. So this summer that just won't end with the drought, the hot temperatures, the red flag warnings. It's the endless summer. We don't want it to be endless summer unless, of course, we're off from school and then somehow the drought says, oh, it's too dry to go back to school. Everybody just, you know, stay home for another couple months. Right. Severe thunderstorm-wise, what's going on? We've got a whole bunch of, you know, states or whatnot affected by a slight risk today. Only a 2% chance of a tornado. No watches in effect, however, 21 warnings as of the time that I loaded the page. Look at all these different severe thunderstorm warnings going on, and some flash floods. Fortunately, though, no tornado warnings, because that's what really draws the crowd of, oh my god, stuff is happening. But severe thunderstorm warnings can actually end up being more destructive. But yes, so here's what's going on with the wind chance today. So let's compare it to the hail thing. So the hail thing drops out these states. But basically, here's your 15% chance of severe winds, that'd be 58 miles per hour greater. 15% chance of hail, that'd be 1 inch or larger. And then 2% chance of a tornado, where apparently it's Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, a smidge of New York with a 2% chance. So we could say, if you're not familiar with the numbers, you say, this random point where my mouse is in Ohio, in the 2% area, that means that there's a 2% chance that that random point or someone within a 25-mile radius of them will see a tornado today. So by far, the bigger numbers are the 15% tornado and 15% wind and hail, not tornado and hail. Right, tomorrow it moves farther to the east with a slight risk again. So, and then a whole bunch of states affected by the 5% as well. And then back here with the 5%. Day after tomorrow, at least as of now, they're showing it tapering off, where they've got only the 5% area, and it's from the far of the coast and then over here. Days 4 through 8, predictability too low, so there is something, and look, it's even broken up by the day. Day 4, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So if you read that, you could find out, you know, what specifically they're looking at. But in general, it means there's timing and a location is not yet certain enough for them being the Storm Prediction Center to have put something on the map. Right there. SevereWeatherTV.com is the official homepage of this screencast or whatnot. Yes. And then Wicked Wix is, of course, WICKEDWX.com. You can also get severe thunderstorm news from weather.gov, Storm Prediction Center, Cyclocane is CYCLOCANE.com, where we'll be tracking what may be, what is it again? Gordon. Tropical Storm Gordon. I'm betting this thing is going to officially be called a storm. Well, not necessarily a storm. I'm betting it's going to be officially a tropical cyclone shortly. Right. So that's what's going on today. Hopefully you're not affected by anything too dramatic or whatnot. And yeah, hopefully if you're in a droughted area, you get some kind of hurricane over land, which is just not going to happen except in the movies. Right, that's it for today. Enjoy yourself.